Hello, and welcome to Hangout with Oshori. Thank you for joining in today. And we are continuing our series of family relationship and raising kids. Last time we talked about raising godly kids, and that was part one. We're going to be continuing that today. And as our custom is, let's talk about what's in my cup. In my cup today, I have Zobo drink. Zobo drink is made from hibiscus, and it has great benefit. Just like hibiscus tea is good for heart health, and it also contains ginger, and ginger helps improve digestion. I'll take a sip, and we'll get right into it. It tastes really good, actually. The Bible says that foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction drives it far away from him. Now, so in the light of that, we're going to be bringing out some points that will help us raise our children the godly way. And one of the points I'm looking at today is that we are to lead them to Christ. Now, when I say lead them to Christ, you're to lead them to Christ voluntarily. Now, that when they are ready, you're not to make them give their life to Christ, but you're to lead them to Christ. The reason I said this is that even God gave us a choice. He said, I place before you life and death. Choose life that you might live. So you are bringing them up, but you are also letting them make their choice on their own when they are ready. Now, the goal is not for them to do what you do or give their life to Christ because of you, but to actually have their own encounter. When they have their encounter with Christ, whether you are there or not, they will still do the right thing. So you lead them to Christ when they are ready. You teach them in a way that they understand for themselves. So they're not just going to church because you're going to church. They're not praying because you're making them pray. They're not doing all the things you're doing. They are doing because you're doing them. But they have their own relationship with God. And so that even when they are no longer with you, they already have a relationship. So you are to lead them to Christ as early as you can and when they are ready. So this is not you forcing them to give their life to Christ. Make sure they are ready so that they know the decision they're taking and to make that decision on their own. And also, you also can lead them to Christ by showing them examples. What I mean by that is, you are a leader. So the first part is we talked about them giving their life to Christ. Now you are also a leader, meaning lead them to Christ by the things you do, the music you listen to, the types of clothes you wear, the things you say. You know, we dwelled so much on example last week. So that's one. Another thing is that you have to have a relationship with them. Rules without relationship will breed rebellion. So they are your children, but you're not just throwing rules at them, telling them you have to do this, but build a cordial relationship with them. Now, let me give you an example. For instance, if you have a boss who is very controlling and does not have a relationship with you, but they just want you to get the job done, compared to a boss who actually cares for you, wants to know how you're doing, is interested in your welfare, which boss would you be more submissive to? So you get the point. So the one that is more interested in you is not just about the work that you have to do. You'll be more than likely do more, from your heart. So that's where relationship with your children comes in. So build a relationship with them, not just throwing rules. Like I said, don't forget that rules without relationship, you're going to be building rebellious children. And also discipline. Now, I had a counselor say that there are two set of people that majorly come to him, for counseling. The ones that they always discipline and they don't show love. And also the ones that they say they love their children to the point of not correcting them. And then the counselor said, are you more intelligent than God, who said that when you spare the rod, you will spoil the child. So there has to be a balance. You discipline them, but in love. Now, it is not punishment. We are teaching them that through that discipline, you're modeling that for every action or choices you make, there is consequence. So that's the reason you're disciplining them. You're not punishing them. And don't make them think that you hate them, because there's a very fine line between that. So when you're disciplining them, you're doing that in love. After disciplining them, you can actually give them a hug and ask them, do you know why this happened? You teach them at that point. So the point of discipline is never to punish your children. No, you're teaching them in love, because the Bible again says, train up a child in the way that they should go. And also, you are not, because the Bible also tells us not to spare the rod, because if we do spare the rod, we're going to spoil our children. So we're going to have a balance there, because from what I said, that the counselor said, like the most people that come to him are those people that just want to love their children, love them to destruction, love them to the point that the government will now help them, imprison them in the future. God forbid, that's not our children. But that's not loving them at all, because when children make mistakes, you have to correct them, but ensure that you're doing it in love. So, like I said, let there be a balance, love, but also discipline. Because when you spare the rod, you're going to spoil the child. And I'm going to go to my next point. Pardon me, I'm looking at my note here. Be vigilant. The Bible says, be sober, be vigilant. Your adversary, the devil, is like a roaring lion, seeking for whom to devour. Our children will not be those. They are praying in the name of Jesus. We have to be vigilant. You have to be watchful. Jesus said to watch and pray. So you have to be very watchful and watch out for things that are not right with your children. Like I started with, that there is foolishness. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. So it's very possible for you to find some things that are not pleasant. They are not the things you taught them, but you found it. But thank God you found it. But if you're not vigilant, if you're not discerning, your children are they're gonna go astray under your roof without you knowing. Be vigilant. I don't do this a lot, but my husband does it. Make sure he goes upstairs, check their room, like he's very watchful. If you are a single parent, then you probably want to be the one that is doing everything, so be vigilant. And also, God shows parents stuff. If you are very prayerful and serious with your relationship with God, it's going to show you things about your children too. So you have to be vigilant, and so that when you find things, it's not the time to scream. You first of all give God thanks that He showed you those things that you have seen, and then you probably, if you don't know how to handle it, ask for help. If you don't know how to handle it. So that's where being vigilant comes in. So we know they are children, we know they will make mistakes. Sometimes you probably find things that you did not expect. And now, when you find things like that, one of the things you want to think of is, what would Jesus do? Jesus left the 99 for one. And also, the prodigal child. Remember that if you know that story, the Bible said he came to himself. Now, if the home was not conducive, if he did not have a good home, he remembered how his home was, and that's why he decided to come back home. Some parents will make the home so uncomfortable that the children, they actually feel they are better off outside. But there's a way you will make your home for your children that they will know that whenever they are in trouble, daddy is the first person to call, mom is the first person to call. So they are not moving far away from you, because they know that you truly care. Because like I said in my last video, these children have emotions. They are very intelligent. So when they know that you truly care, they're not going to call their friends, who's going to probably make them sing some more. But like the prodigal son, what he did was that he came to his senses and he went back home, So depending on how you've made your home, depending on how you've raised them, depending on how you build that relationship that we talked about, your child will turn out well and will come to you when they're in trouble. And my next point is that avoid the temptation of showing favoritism. This is very common with parents, and children are different. I'm going to combine those together. Avoid the temptation of having favorite child. Now, it probably might come, but don't let it happen. Fight it. Some people, now, why I also added children are different is because a child is behaving a certain way doesn't make the child less a child. Okay, it's still your child, and the fact that, oh, this child is, you think this one is very good, and this one gives me problem, doesn't mean you should love the one that you think is so good, and then the one that gives you problem. No, love them equally, show them love. And it's in loving them equally that you actually draw that child close to you. Again, like I said in my last video, no child will reject love. So ensure that as you are raising them up, do not show favoritism, because it will hurt those children, the other children that they're seeing those things that you're doing. You know, one thing about my mom is that every one of us think the other one is mommy's favorite. So if everyone is thinking that the other one is mommy's favorite, that means mommy definitely does not have favorite. So make sure, and even in our home, we make sure that that is what we're doing too. Don't have favorite children. Treat them equally, be nice to them, and keep moving. And favoritism brings jealousy. Remember Joseph? Imagine if Jacob was not showing favoritism. He probably would not have gone into trouble. You know, that brought about jealousy, and he was sold into slavery. He could have still been a prime minister without passing through other route he passed through. So that is one thing favoritism can do to your family. It will actually break your family apart. So love them equally, and just ensure that you love them equally. That's all I can say. Don't show favoritism. It's not good, because like I said, children are different. So the fact that one is behaving somehow, I mean, it's your responsibility to raise them all. You know, you have it's a job for you. It's a job for you. So go ahead and do your job, okay? And you got this. And also speak life to them, no matter what you see. Don't speak what you're saying, whether in their health, in their character, in anything, in their studies, in their academics. Don't speak what you see. Speak life. You know, I was listening to someone recently while I was studying for this, and she mentioned that her dad kept on saying that, oh, you're gonna dine with presidents, you're gonna, you know, and it has happened. What her dad said has happened. And also, by speaking those positive things, you're building confidence in your children, you're building a healthy self-esteem for them. So speak life. Don't ever let them feel less of themselves. No. Let that not be you. I mean, they might get that from outside, but you will pump them so much that whatever they're doing to them outside doesn't matter, because they know they have a father or a mother who cares so much about them and is speaking life to them. So even if they are present or behind them or in front of them, always speak positivity. Tell them you are great. Tell them you are the head and not the tail. Tell them you will dine with presidents. Say all the things, all the good things that you want. And one other thing that I want to touch on is social media. Be careful of how you expose your children to social media in this age. Now, we are very careful about that, especially in handing them phones and tablets and computers and everything you want to give to them. You know, I was hearing one preacher Sharer, to be precise, she said she gave her child a phone at 15, because I sometimes see some parents giving children phones at kinder. You know, what are they doing with the phone at that point? So you don't want to expose them to social media so early, as much as you can. You know, there are a lot of things they can do with social media that's good actually, but make sure you put an eye on what they are doing. You know, don't just give them phones. Don't just give them Chromebooks without supervision. For instance, we have passwords. Their devices are passworded. They are not supposed to know it. It's because they know it was the point. There's a time frame for social media. It's not every time. So you have to, even as adults, we need that help with social media. Much more your little children. Don't just expose them to social media and leave them on there. It's very dangerous out there. And that's one thing, because it wasn't there during our time, but it's here right now. So we have to handle it so that we are not destroying our children because of the devices we've handed over to experience in their life. And the last but not the least here is that you have to learn to research, learn to study, learn to read books on raising children. I've learned a lot. I mean, some of the things that I forgot, some of the things that that I have not been doing, I learned just researching to bring this to you. So there's a lot of things you can learn. You can go to YouTube, you can go read books, but don't use the same formula your parents used that probably did not work well. Maybe you never like how they raised you. So don't use that same formula for your children. And one thing I would love to say is that when you're disciplining them, according to psychology, the most common way of disciplining our children is that we come as the boss, which is okay, because of course we are the boss. We are supposed to, we're in charge of them, right? But I mean, if you have a strong-willed child, which in some cases, being the boss may not work, you can build a relationship. You can negotiate with them and see that how it works. Now, not because you're no longer in charge, you're still in charge, but it's just that what you have been doing is not working. So there's something you can try. Sometimes talk to them. If you do this, you get this. There are a lot of things you can be creative about. Like I said, do research. Like this type of video you're listening to, and many more videos that are out there of people who know how to handle these things. And don't be frustrated. They will turn out well. If you do your own part. Do your own part, and the Bible says, train them up in the way they should go. Even though it seems as if they are going to the left, don't even fret. Keep doing what you're doing, and just make sure you're doing the right thing on your part. Don't forget to love them. Don't forget to build that relationship. Don't forget to keep speaking greatness to them, and make sure that they don't feel less of themselves when you're with them. Let them express themselves. Let them be able to talk to you. And this is all for today, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.